Michael, you are Node.js Foundation in the list.
Let me rename myself.
Excellent.
We are live. So thanks everyone for coming to another Node.js Community Committee meeting. This is the meeting for Thursday, April 16th, 2020. Cool. Do we want to get started with initiative updates and the like?
I'll go with the mentorship. From our updates, we finished a form application for the new mentors, the new mentees to applicate, and we are doing a draft beta test on ourselves to get a new applicant, and we are testing the new process. So we'll. You guys are going to know David Guttman as our mentorship champion. And he will talk more, I believe, from what we are trying to do and more stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I guess I can elaborate on that a little bit. Since I guess right around the beginning of the year, we decided to take a look at what we were trying to accomplish and decided that it was worth experimenting with a new direction. So instead of just having a general mentee pool and trying to get as many mentors as we can and do the matching up that way, the thinking was to be more focused on the value that we could be providing directly to different working groups. So following that, it would be, okay, what are the different areas that could use help with, or to some extent could define some, a focused area to work on. Using that, we would then create what you might most easily compared to like a job application where it would be, or a job description, it would be much more about the types of skills that are required. So for a lot of these, that just might be some familiarity with GitHub and opening, closing pull requests, things like that. Because a lot of what we realized is that a lot of the mentees would not really have this basic these basic skills or these basic experiences, and those are not the types of things that our mentors needed to be teaching. So a lot of the mentors within Node have a lot more specialized experience that they can be sharing and helping with people, and then there's a lot more general skills that the mentees could be learning on their own. And that's not to say that once a potential mentee sees one of these job descriptions, they wouldn't be able to learn what's required. A lot of these things they could do it, but we wanted to save a lot of the time and energy of the mentors for teaching the things that the mentor actually has specialized knowledge of. So all of that's to say is that the way that we're organizing it now is that we're trying to create specific roles first, and then go out to the broader community mentee candidates to then find people who can fit those roles better, rather than just trying to do it more general. Now, to test this new approach, we decided to do a little bit of dog fooding and see how it would work for our group, the mentorship team. So before going to other working groups, we figured we'd try and test as much of the process as we could. So to do this, we created a new form with a minimal job description for the mentorship team, and put it out there, and we got an applicant through this. I think unlike the past, the channel that we used, which is literally just the Slack mentorship channel, doesn't actually get a whole lot of visibility, and so we didn't get very many applicants, which is a pretty good thing to learn. But overall, I mean, I think we're making really good progress. We're definitely learning things, and I think the next steps for us would be to maybe widen the net for our first test, trying to find a mentee for the mentorship team. I think there's also some things that we want to discuss about possibly Slack permissions. If we do continue to use the Slack channel as our primary way of communicating with potential mentees, we might want some additional permissions, like being able to like @here or @channel. And then on a related topic, we noticed that the OpenJS Slack, as opposed to the Node Slackers Slack, seems to be, I don't know if that's where things are moving. So that's also something that we're interested in. But then beyond the wider net and how we communicate with the community, we should also, we'd be really curious to hear thoughts on how best to approach other working groups and figure out what the best, like how to figure out what the best roles that could be mutually beneficial for the working group mentors and the mentees.
So, I mean, I guess in ComCom here, there's a few different initiatives represented. The way at least I would approach that is reaching out to people who are active in working groups or initiatives. Working groups are probably going to be a little bit more, I think, better, except for like, I think in terms of ComCom initiatives, probably examples and website are going to be good ones that could potentially benefit from mentees. But for working groups that are under the TSC, I think, you know, figuring out the folks who are active in respective working groups, and then reaching out to them directly, whether it's over like Twitter DM or email, I guess, or you know, or OpenJS Foundation DM, and then basically saying, like, you know, explaining what you explained to us. I think that would be the best way to approach it, and like get their take, and if they think their working group would be interested or able or willing to do that. I think that might be a good approach.
Along with, you know, the example. So if you already had like a description used for the mentoring team, you know, go and explain the concept and here, you know, show here's what we did in our context. And along with, I guess, the ask is to help put together something similar, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, that's exactly right. Why we wanted to do it for us first, so that when approaching somebody else, like the ask is, yeah, I mean, pretty much the ask is, hey, are you willing to mentor someone? That is like a time investment to be able to point them in the right directions and to teach them things unique about what you're doing. And then up front, there's a little bit of, okay, for you to actually take someone on, like, what are your requirements? Like if somebody has no experience with GitHub whatsoever, has never even downloaded Node, for some of things, like especially if it's more technical, that's a non-starter, right? You don't want somebody on the TSC teaching somebody how to use GitHub or, you know, where to download Node.
Yep.
So like what those requirements actually are, and then we'll work with them to make the job description. So yeah, that's the ask, is those various levels of time commitment.
I would say that the main issue that we are trying to fix is that we were using the same spec to apply pairs from mentees and mentors to everyone. And the idea is to use a more customized filter, because there is a lot of groups and a lot of mentors, and the requirements should not be the same for every applicant, right? So this is one of the issues that we are trying to fix from what we learned from the previous cohorts.
Right, matching the right people with the right
Yeah,
mentors.
but that doesn't mean that the rule will increase. It's just that it will depend on each group necessity. The main idea is that if you guys, I don't know, let's suppose that Node modulus it's in short staff and they need someone to help them. So the idea is to work in a way that we can help find the suitable and motivated person to join them. So not only the person will be the mentee will have some tutoring, but also will contribute directly into the working group. So that's what we are trying to accomplish.
Cool. So I guess, you know, a question there, is there anything else that you need from us from ComCom at present?
I just posted the 2 issues down below in the initiative updates. Node mentorship. Should I put inside in the documentation inside the mentorship or let it down? I just put the 2 issues with the labeled ComCom agenda. Basically, we need a Slack permission to send @channel or @here inside only the channel of the mentorship, so to broadcast news. And we need to update the owner permissions on the GitHub repository because Ahmed being retired, I don't know what the proper English word, but he stepped down. So we need to update the GitHub repository.
Okay. Yeah, we can get both those taken care of. Let's get to those in as we're going through the agenda. Since they are in there, but we should try to make sure we get through the other initiative updates first. Sound good?
So sure. Thanks.
Yeah,
Cool.
sounds great.
Awesome. Cool. Any other initiative updates?
I have another one. Oh, sorry.
I talked over someone.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, Saturday now we had our hackathon from the Node.js redesign, and we started the release page. We already did 30% of that page, and we changed the approach of the hackathons. Instead of discussing, we discovered that it was not getting us where we wish to be going, and then we changed to a hands-on live sharing VS Code experience where everyone joins and each developer picks up a component or an assignment to work in the same page. So on the release page, we already did inside the header of the main container inside the releases page with the navigation, the downloads, description, the buttons to select which operating software, and if you're going to download long LTS or current. But we only did 30% because it took a long time for us to figure out how to work everyone together. But this gives us an experience so we can go faster on the next Saturday. That's it. I believe in 2 or 3 weeks, we'll finish the entire release page. And by doing this approach, I think we could go faster with the release, not the release, but the design of everything that's pending. Only one thing, I need to talk, I believe, with Rachel, if we're going to, I don't know, broadcast this via Twitter or I don't know.
I think, yeah. I was gonna say, I think, go ahead.
Tierney, it's all right, go for it. I think you're answering the question right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think the kind of to-do from the last meeting was to just reach out to Rachel before it's gonna happen with like what to share.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, she said, I believe she said that she'd be willing to share it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Can you all hear me?
Yep, we can.
Okay. Yeah. Just if you want to you can either DM the Node Twitter handle. You can find me on Slack, email. however you want to send me that information, I'm happy to get that info out.
Cool. Manil, did we cover what you were going to say?
Yeah, so covered most of it. All I'd add to that is all of this falls under website redesign's OKRs, which folks can find in the repository under OKR. It includes stuff that falls roughly into two buckets. One is the product, so the website itself, and the other is continuity of process. So the group has been experimenting with a lot of different things, including hackathons. And one new thing that we're trying out is milestoning the OKRs that we have. If folks want to check out what that looks like, there's a project board in the repository. Other than that, it all comes down to delivering whatever we've listed in the OKRs as the basic key results for this cycle. That's all.
Cool. Awesome. Any other initiative updates?
This is AJ with the mentorship team. I just thought of this off the top of my head, but before I started working with the mentorship team, I headed up an initiative called Wishlist, and the direction we've taken with the mentorship team now kind of supersedes that. And I didn't ever get any time to work on that, being that I got a full-time job right after that I got started. So that initiative could probably be shut down.
Sorry, which one specifically?
Wishlist.
Okay. Is that something that's specifically within?
It's a repo in Node
Okay.
/ wishlist.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I don't think that was ever documented as an official initiative for ComCon.
Okay.
So if that's something you think should be shut down, I can go ahead and archive that.
Yes, please.
Michael, is there any restriction around archiving things? Should I create an issue in admin for that?
I think that's usually what we do.
Okay.
Is like create an issue. They're saying, hey, I'm going to go archive this, and then after the 72 hours or whatever, no objections, we go ahead and do it.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure. Cool. Sounds good. Yeah, I will go ahead and create that issue then. Sounds good. Any other initiative updates?
Hello, guys.
Hello.
I'm not head of some initiative. I'm just like active contributor of IATN initiative. So,
Awesome.
and I can give you an update about what we have now with this initiative. Does it interesting for you, or we should wait for Ben? I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. Please go ahead. We more than welcome that. So.
Yeah, so unfortunately, a lot of our contributors now busy now with this quarantine stuff, but I'm trying to convince everyone to do something. So as much as we done a lot of stuff for the last month. We are connected a Node.js website to our, in general, we are using Crowdin for translation our content. And before we are used it just for API docs, but for now we are finally connected with Node.js website content, and we also fixed the problems that we have with documentation content. So for now we are can translate everything for Node.js.org and for API docs, and it's everything connected, everything works, and we can start inviting translators to our system. But I would like to postpone this process for a few weeks until we are test everything and everything works well and everything will be automated, because for now it's a bit manual still, and I'm working on that. But in general, we are making big steps and we are ready to translate everything. So it's yay. Another thing is.
Can I ask one quick question?
Yep.
You mentioned the API docs. Where do the translated versions go for that?
Yeah, so it was decided maybe a year ago or probably 2 years ago, is to not push any translation content to our original repo Node.js /node to
Yep.
like not make some noise for that, and
Mhm.
create a mirror called Node.js IATN repo that
Okay.
make nightly synchronization. It's also implemented for last month. Is nightly sync all content from original repo to this repo, and then push it to CrowdIn. So all translated content is based on this repo IATN, and we are using it for that.
Okay. So if I wanted to, refer to translated API docs, it would be that 18N repo that I would find a link to, or?
For now, it's like a next steps for us to, for me especially, to understand the build process of docs website, because it's like it seems different from Node.js Node.js.org website. It's built somewhere else, and I don't know where, and so I need to research about it. But it's not connected to online website. It's like just placed on repo in Markdown files, and that's it. But I hope we will find the solution how we can push everything and build everything to our online website in near future.
Right. I guess I was like, today, if I point people to the API docs, it's just marked down within.
It's just
the Node
Markdown,
repo.
yeah.
So for the API docs, if it's just that they're somewhere else, I just was trying to understand where that somewhere else would be. Like, do you have a link that is the entry point for the mirror of the API docs?
Yes, I can send you one. Just a second.
So I believe it's the CrowdIn link, right?
Yeah, I can send you the link to content and to the repo, actual translations.
I see. So it's actually hosted at CrowdIn as opposed to in a repo in. Okay. Is that a traditional way of way the projects do it?
That is how I'm not, apologize for speaking for internationalization. I'm not trying to do that, but that's how I've seen any project that does CrowdIn do it. I believe I've seen some that automatically push it back, but it is generally managed through CrowdIn in terms of this is the place that people actually go to do the work.
Right. I'm again, like, going to do the work totally makes sense. I'm like, we've got to, if once it's translated now, and I see they're mostly 0%, but like, if you wanted to say, oh, here, if you want to go check out the Node docs in Japanese, not people translating, but people using it. How
Yes. You need to point it to the repo Markdown file. Let me just send example link for Spanish translation. It's like word chat here. Okay, so here, it's not. Just a second. Sorry, another message. Yeah, so you can point to the actual file in Markdown in the repo, and it's like open.
Okay, so it actually comes back into our repo because that 18N is our, okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
That's how it's working now, but as I said, I need to investigate into building process of current docs, original docs, and then connect in some way translations, because as I said, I never seen the build code. Probably someone can give me a piece of advice where I can find it, like how we generate the docs pages for website.
But the website isn't necessarily connected to the API docs, right?
Yeah, so
yes.
Maybe you're right. Yeah, sorry.
To answer your question a bit, I believe that's built from Node and then deployed. It's like on the same domain, but it's not the same website. It's like a different website on a different path, basically. So like the subpath of like, the language and the docs is its own website that's like independent from the core system. And I believe they're just deployed to the same place, if that makes sense. I could be very wrong on that, but that's my understanding.
The thing is, I'm pretty sure also that the code to do the conversion, actually, like, you can run make doc in the Node tree.
Node
Yeah.
3. Okay.
Yeah, and I assume that's what happens.
So probably, yeah, somewhere basically, we must run make doc, and then the output from that gets merged into the Node.js docs, or it's even on the website that it would pull the right branches and do that even.
Yeah.
Which is
Okay.
interesting for the translations, because if they're not in the main repo, there'll need to be extra steps to do that.
Okay, I will take a look. So it should probably it's main repo or node 3, right?
Yeah, it's in the Node.js. Like if you check out Node.js/node, and then you say make doc, that's the process, I think, that converts the markdown into what you see on the website.
Okay, I see.
And
Thank you.
then separately, there'll be some other process that, like, either it's, I don't know off the top of my head, but either on the website we do that, something similar to that, as like a cron job or whatever.
Okay, I will take a
Or
look.
that's probably my first guess, actually.
Okay, I will take a look. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's basically all updates from translation team. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Oh, yeah,
Thank you very
thanks.
much
That
for
was
coming
great.
and sharing that. Yeah, it's really appreciated. Cool. I'm just going to keep asking until nobody says anything. Are there any other initiative updates?
I can report from the CPC, but it's not technically an initiative, so I don't want to jump the gun.
Go ahead. It is in domain.
Once, going twice. Okay, great. So, well, the first thing I would like to announce is I just finished closing all of the open PRs in the ComCom repo. So that's kind of nice. Right?
Thanks.
Wait a sec. You closed all. I'm not quite following.
I merged all of the open PRs.
Oh, you merged all the
in
PRs.
ComCom.
Okay,
Yeah.
right. I was thinking closing every issue. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just going through and closing everything. We're shutting down.
Okay, immersion. Perfect.
Yeah. So let's see. On the CPC side, I guess one of the important things to highlight is that we had elections for members, two voting members that would be the representatives for the non-impact projects, the growth at large and incubating projects. Toby Langle who's been representing the AMP project, as well as Chris Hiller, who is the lead maintainer on Mocha, were both elected as voting members representing those projects, all of the non-impact projects, I should say. So that's the big recent news. We're continuing to work on code of conduct aspects, I guess you'd call it. We're looking to have a code of conduct panel that would do any sort of moderation that escalates up to the foundation or the cross-project council. We're hoping to do a working session soon to iron out some of the code of conduct bumps in the road that we found, and it's primarily process related, not necessarily like detail oriented. So hoping to have that happen soon. And let's see, the event is still scheduled to be in person, but I think that they are very seriously considering going virtual. I don't want to get ahead of anything on that. Let's see, what else is important to bring up for this group? I mean, I think perhaps, Michael, we should highlight the question about the board seat.
That's worth. I mean, one of the issues which is open, and I think I did, start some discussion on it, but as the time gets closer, we need to come to a conclusion on. For the first year, the Node.js project was given one of the two CPC board seats, but that's not necessarily seen as a permanent thing. And so the question is, what's the Node.js's project feeling on that this year? Is it like, we're comfortable, we've been through the process, we've had our CPC rep, we believe we can get everything done through that, don't think we need a board rep specifically for Node anymore? Or on the flip side, no, we still think we should for another year as part of the transition. I think the final decision is up to the CPC, but what I think is we should be doing now is getting the Node.js project opinion on what they'd like to see in terms of that.
Is that something like you're kind of asking for right now?
I don't think we need an answer. Like,
okay.
We don't need to make the answer now, but I think Joe's just putting it on the agenda or on people's radars to say we should have a discussion and come up with what we think. And the TSC and the ComCom together should, say, here's our opinion.
It would perhaps be worth creating an admin issue just so it can be on the agenda.
I think I did.
Oh,
I'm sure. Actually, I'm sure I did, and I'm sure. Like, let me look because I'm sometimes wrong when I'm sure, but.
Oh, maybe it just didn't get labeled.
I may not have been tagged, right? So we can.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it in admin, and I'm not seeing it in TSC. But I remember seeing something.
Yeah, I do too.
There was definitely discussion. I just don't. Yeah, let me see. I'll see if I can find where it is, and we can tag it for the agenda next time.
Okay.
Yep, sounds good.
Maybe it's in the CPC repo.
Maybe. But we should create something in admin track there.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I'm gonna add the CC and TSC agenda labels and make sure it gets discussed. Cool. I don't think there's anything else to share from the CPC and OpenJS Foundation.
Cool.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
And
yeah, okay.
Any other initiative updates or foundation or board updates?
Board meeting next week. So if there's anything, I think it's next week. So if there's anything that you do need me to raise, let me know. I'm not really aware of anything at this moment.
We also have a marketing committee meeting on Tuesday.
Okay. Is that on the Node community or the Node community calendar?
On the OpenJS calendar.
Okay, that makes sense. Cool. I guess I will share the two things I've been working on in initiatives and somewhat initiatives. I have gone through and done a lot of the work on examples. That repo is now up. I've also tried to incorporate some feedback and kind of adapt to some feedback from Shelley Vore and Matteo Colina. So Matteo submitted a PR for changing the test slightly, and then Shelley gave some feedback on repo structure and things being ways things could be a little bit more clear. So those have both landed, and then mostly now trying to socialize. Please come submit examples. It's not something I can necessarily do all myself. So mostly trying to kind of invest my time in working with other people to get them to come and submit examples rather than me writing them myself, just as a way to kind of make it more of a community effort rather than a Tierney effort. So yeah, if you are interested in that, more than welcome to come and submit and work on examples. Very happy to help people through that. And of course, it's an initiative, and I'm currently the only initiative member. So if you also want to be a member of it, that definitely reach out. And if you want to come work. Additionally, there is the social team PR that I've put up. So this is the kind of culmination of a few months of off and on work. Basically, a while ago, Rachel brought up that there's the possibility of handing over the Node.js socials to the project rather than the foundation maintaining them. I now have the PR up for that proposal in issue 494 in admin. So if y'all could review that, give it a read and stuff, I would really appreciate that, just so we can kind of hopefully move that along. It seems like there's general consensus so far. Michael gave some really useful feedback. But yeah, you know, getting feedback on that would be super, super helpful. Yeah, so that's the things I have. Any comments, questions, thoughts on those?
I have one question. You were talking about the examples, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I would love to help. I was going to ask you if you already have the example to follow of documentation, if you know what I meant. So I can help in create a new doc using yours as example.
Yeah, so I did create an example. Like I have one example that I created as intended to be a like reference of how to do it. So that's the CLI example that's in there. I can sync up with you after this and kind of point to you and, you know, hopefully help answer any questions you may have.
Sure, I'll talk to you later. Thanks.
Cool,
bro.
awesome. Yeah. Any other things, feedbacks, questions? Cool. We can move on then to the agenda. That was a very long updates, and wow, that was a very long updates. I'm happy that we had so many. I guess is a good way to put it. Cool. So first agenda item is, do we need a newsletter? I believe we talked about this last week, and this may have been kind of answered to some extent. Yeah, we did. I believe we addressed this by stating there's no current plan, as Design More Web commented. Anyone have an issue with me removing the agenda label for that, since we have previously discussed it?
Should it actually just be closed?
Fair. Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, change that to closing and removing the agenda label.
+1.
+1.
I have done that. Cool. Next item is update review due process in collection. Is Walid here? Oh geez, I haven't had the panelist tab open. I hope nobody's been. Oh geez. I apologize, Gary. I did not have the panelist tab open to follow in attendees. Yeah, I've been working with Walid on this, and it looks like he updated again after my most recent review, which I will go ahead and review again. I don't know if there's further updates there beyond the review back and forth. Any comments, questions, thoughts on that one? Cool.
No, looks like kind of once you are happy, you can land it.
Yeah, yeah. I would agree with that. And then give Slack channel permissions in Node.js mentorship. So Solo, is this specifically for which Slack is this? Is this the Node.js community or OpenJS Foundation?
That's I guess is this raises two questions. The first one, we are using the Node Slackers. So everyone from the mentorship, everyone that all the mentees, the mentors were until now were addressed to join this Node.js Slack channel. The question that I have, since Node become OpenJS, my question is, should we move to OpenJS? Should we maintain both? What do you guys? I'm not sure how we should approach, but we definitely need the permission to send the at channel and at here on the Slack channel.
So for your first question, I would recommend, you know, of course, passing it through the folks in the project to see, or the initiative to see how they feel. The biggest benefit that I see to OpenJS, and I honestly would recommend just staying where you are if it weren't for this, would be to basically it's a paid Slack, so your history will not go away, and that the Node.js Slack, like every time I open it,
like the channel that whatever is open is just blown away. It's like there's a lot of messages in there and things get lost very fast.
I think the
So-
other thing to add to that is we actually have some control over it, right? So like in terms of adding permissions, I think I'd know who to ask for that. Not so sure
So-
for the other one.
So in that we theoretically do, we have not maintained it. But the Node Slackers is part of the, what's the initiative thing?
Yeah, I remember we have the,
Yeah,
so I guess we do
The-
have a couple people who might be able to do that for you.
right. Yeah, so it's part of the partner communities. Theoretically, the person I believe before was Dan, and then Dan is no longer, member of ComCom, and then it was Tracy, I believe, or Tracy took over from Dan on that. And Tracy is no longer part of ComCom, and I believe Tracy is where it currently stands. So we
Right.
do need to actually follow up on that. But Jordan, LJ Harb is admin there and is relatively involved in foundation stuff. I think he's the primary owner. So, he is the person that I would end up reaching out to.
We actually have all three members of the mentorship team here now.
Okay.
I,
Okay.
for one, am okay with moving to the OpenJS. If either Sala or David would like to.
Yeah,
do
I
that.
think for internal team communications, that makes sense. I think the mentorship channel, which is part of what we're talking about for wanting to get the permissions for here and channel. I think, God, how many people are in that room right now?
Answering
There are
the-
500 and
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Probably it's not. I don't think it will be better to go to the OpenJS because will be 500, and I don't know if it's a paid version, right? So I don't think this will be good for the.
So
JS
it's comped. So it's we're not actually paying for it. It's the
Oh.
paid tier without the pay. Yeah.
So there are no limits on users?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. So, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because I don't think it's a big
Right,
deal
so-
to migrate the mentorship channel, tell everyone, just make an announcement there. I don't think most of those people are even active in it anymore, honestly. And we haven't ever really done an outreach to try to get people in there. So I think we'll have a lot more eventually than that.
Okay, yeah, so I'm totally cool with it. I think we just need to recognize that we did a test to see if that was a good, I don't know if marketing is the right word, if that was like a good communication channel for mentorship to like reach people.
Mhm.
And at least without the escalated permissions, like being able to alert the entire channel, I think we came to the conclusion that it's not. So if we wanted to just say, all right, let's move to OpenJS, I don't know how many of those 500 people we're going to be able to get to move just by messaging them in the Node Slackers. And so I think there's just an awareness where we're going to have to use other channels to communicate with the community at large and not just Slack. But I think we're all recognizing that anyway.
Yeah, and I mean, for what it's worth, you can totally reach out to Jordan. I see that he's online in the Node Slackers right now, and say like either, hey, could we get the permissions to do this, or hey, could you do this? Is a potential way to resolve that for the mentorship channel. And like, you definitely don't have to make that decision now, of course. Like, that's not something that ComCom is demanding of mentorship. But you don't necessarily have to move fast on that, and definitely do it at your own pace. But if you want to go ahead and explore like doing that channel first, you're more than welcome to do that and explore what you need to.
Okay, cool.
Cool. Does that kind of address the agenda item?
I think so.
Okay, cool. Any other thoughts, comments, questions, feedback on that one? Cool. Awesome. Next one is give owner permissions to mentorship champion. I believe Michael did this while we were in the meeting. Oh, no, he did not. That
Nope.
was the other one, I think.
But that one I can,
Cool.
you know, if we want to do that, I can do that. I have it pretty much open.
Cool. Yeah, that's totally fine.
So
And
basically make David the maintainer, right?
Yep.
Okay. Done. And I guess Ahmed, should he be removed from the team?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay.
There's one thing that I remember right now. We are going to open up a request to update the Concon README or who is as David Guttman as the champion. I'll open later, okay?
Yep, makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. And we can, yeah, that's totally fine. And I guess a question, since we have you three here, and since we have 10 minutes that we can maybe talk about this. This isn't like a complex question, but will one or two or three or any of you be able to kind of consistently join meetings, ComCom meetings, to share updates and, you know, reflect the state of things?
Yeah, I think at least one of us can.
Awesome.
Sorry, last week I couldn't make it. My dailies changed to the same time, but it's changed again. So I'll be. I'm already free for those times. So
awesome.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah, that was just one thing that we were missing there for a long time, was like a direct thread to mentorship. So
Yeah,
I'm glad to hear that we will be able to have that back.
Yeah, I had a conflicting meeting that I finally
Gotcha.
was able to move around, but so now
Awesome.
I think multiple of us should be available, you know, so at least one of us should be able to make it.
Yeah, I can when the others can't. So.
Awesome. Cool. That is exhausted our agenda. So I guess, does anyone else have anything to add? Cool. With that, then I think we can end a bit early and get 9 minutes of your quarantine day back. So enjoy, everyone.
Great.
Awesome. Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Talk to everybody later. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you all.